between Megan Fudge and Jack Munro and Allison Harris and Andre Mick. These two of the top seeds left in the draw. We've seen it be a tough time for top seeds at times. These two making their way through. As you see Megan Fudge there in the white hat on your screen, that's Allison Harris with the braid and the pickleball in her hand. Andre Mick, her partner. Harris and Mick first partnered together at this tournament a year ago. They have moved their way into the number 3 seed this season. And Jack Munro there in the white hat, partners with Megan Fudge. Guys, this one should be an entertaining one, to say the least. What should we expect to see from each side?
Well, I mean, you're going to get a lot of fire from the side of Allison Harris and Andre Mick. Mostly from Andre Mick. Allison Harris going to be that great supporting partner. But look for Andre Mick to be very active. This matchup, though, with Jack Munro and Megan Fudge, it puts Megan Fudge on her strong side, which is the left side. Her playing with the lefty is a huge advantage for her because she gets to play that left side. But what that does too, Dorian, is it puts the females straight up against each other. So it's going to put Allison Harris in front of Megan Fudge. Megan Fudge, one of the great defenders in the game. She's going to be ready for those inside outs and those counters from Allison Harris. So I think that's going to be something to watch as the two ladies face up on each other, and who comes out on top of that, I think, is going to come out on top of this match.
Well, honestly, I think Harris needs to play Munro. Munro, get in that cross-court dink battle with Munro. Munro's not as patient of a dinker as Fudge is. You know, he's going to get that ball. He's going to try to see opportunities to speed it up, but potentially not the best ball, and Mick will be there to counter. Now, on the flip side, if that does happen, Munro now has to move that ball around a little bit more. Don't stay in that cross court with Harris. Go behind Mick. Take some opportunities, you know, potentially to move that placement and set Fudge up.
To get to this match, Megan Fudge and Jack Munro had to go through Megan's husband, Ryler DeHart, in the quarterfinal. AJ McCord joins us now with more after talking to Ryler.
Chance to catch up with Ryler right before this match that Megan and Jack are taking on in the semifinals, and he was giving me a little bit of an insight here. He's turned the page and giving me the playbook, if you will, to how he thinks that Fudge and Munro can beat Andre Mick and Allison Harris. He said that Andre has a great attack, and so their key has to be to try and neutralize him, make him play soft when they can. Allison, everybody knows about how strong that cross-court forehand is, so you have to guard against that. So he said that's the game plan for Megan and Jack. When I was talking with Megan before she took on Ryler, she said, look, it's never fun playing against your husband, but if they're looking for the silver lining, part of the reason they do not play together is because this way they have 2 horses in the race here in an APP Tour stop, and so at least this way one member of the household is going to be represented here in the semifinals, and of course Megan Fudge, excited that it's her.
Thanks, AJ. That's called hedging your bets when you put your names in the draw.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right?
0-1-1.
And we've seen them play together. They had played well together when they last played, but then decided to go against it.
So Fudge and Munro got on the board first. Serve back over to Harris and Mick. It's 1-1-1. Mick sliding over.
And that's exactly it right there. Harris is playing Munro, going at that left foot, getting him to push it over. It's not an aggressive dink coming back from Munro. Gives Mick the ability to step over, speed something up, and put the pressure on.
Fudge trying to cut that backhand cross court to get to Andre Mick, but quick little 3-point run here from Harris and Mick.
That's a nice spot there from Fudge going behind Mick with the forehand.
Mick crashing for no reason right there.
Well, it wasn't
really high.
Yeah, it wasn't the best drive from Harris. It wasn't the best ball to be driving from.
3-1-2.
So tough one there for Harris and Mick.
Oh, so much spin.
There was the spin that pushed that ball out wide. Fudge cut that ball and kind of shaped it down the line. When it hit off of Harris's paddle, she had it straight just to bump it back down the line, and it kicked off the paddle.
Second serve.
I think
This is the third.
I think that's what you're going to see too right now is a lot of steady diet of returns to Jack Munro.
Munro gets the winner. But Dom, do you like the game plan of feeding a steady diet of returns to Jack Munro?
Yes, because Megan Fudge is going to drop everything for the most part, or drive it. She may drive a couple, but they're going to be consistent. She's really not going to miss. Munro may miss, but it also keeps Munro back, and he's not going to be able to poach if they return to him and keep him back.
Go, get up, get up. Yep. Go, go, go. Yep. Sorry.
You hear the constant communication in the middle of that point.
Yeah, a little miscommunication there, as not talk-wise, but movement-wise. Mick started to move, and then he said, you, and we saw that Harris had already taken that step back. Once she saw him take that step to the middle the first time.
Harris can't make the pickup as Fudge and Munro retake the lead.
Middle of that point, Andre Mick had a ball that he could get on top of. Wrong decision going to Megan Fudge. We talk about her defense and how good she is. You got to go to Munro, force him to play that.
Good idea from Mick, just not well executed as it sails long off of the paddle. As he and Harris take a timeout as they find themselves trailing by 2 here early on in game number 1 of our second semifinal. And we told you this was a hot ticket here at Championship Court. It's not just the fans that are filing in, it's also the players. Look at all the players as they are lined down Championship Court. Will Howes, Rihanna Valdez, Bobby Oshiro, there's Susanna Barr. Everyone coming to watch this second semifinal.
Yeah, I mean they're all there's
and AJ.
There's AJ.
That's the shaded area right now as the sun is moving its way over. Hey,
but
I would be right there too.
But again, too, it is a very close knit group with all the players.
Yeah.
And so they are out here all to support one another. They compete as hard as they can on court, but off court, a lot of these players travel together, play rec together, warm up together. So, and when you think about it, they're on the road pretty much half the year together too. So it is a very close knit APP family.
More than half the year now, but
right.
You know, and going back to this one here, 5-3. You know, Harris and Mick were up.
They got loose.
Early.
They got loose here.
Time in.
But that's exactly what Fudge and Munro do to you. They haven't put a whole lot of pressure on. They've just played consistent. They don't make a whole lot of errors. They make you work for your points.
Munro all over it, gets some love off of the net court for another point. But Chad, you were just talking, and you and I talked earlier this weekend. It's the fact that winners versus errors, 70% of points come off of unforced errors as opposed to winners.
Yeah, 100%. You know, we talk about power all the time, and you know, somebody's ability to create chaos or anything else. Yes, that's good, but in reality, the consistency, the ability to make your opponents hit one more ball or second guess where they're going to go, that creates the errors, because now your opponents are trying to do too much. As we saw right there with that ball going wide from Mick, you know, you're trying to go for the smallest targets or something that's not going to come back.
Maybe not chaos, but a little consternation on the side of Andre Mick as they find themselves trailing by 4, make it 5 as that return sails long.
That was too big of a word.
8-3-2.
Yeah, that
Right
was
there, Dorian.
just a lot.
You're saying I'm trying to do too much?
No, I'm just saying that I don't even think I can say that. Well, I can say the word, but nobody will really understand what I'm saying if I was to say that.
So ball back up the middle. Jack Munro calls it long.
The ball is
Good to
called
get a
out.
challenge here. It was close, but
It was very close.
Timeout. We have a,
I think it potentially
we
looked
have a
long.
challenge
right
of the
there.
out call.
Well,
The
once
out
again,
call
we all
puts
know
us
that
at
I bat below the
9-3-2.
Mendoza line when it comes to
So now
challenges.
proceed to
I thought
video
it was in.
wow, you dropped the below the Mendoza line. That's
A little references
Dom
today.
and I are drinking a rainstorm right now to try to clear our minds a little bit. And Dorian's thrown out all the big words.
So here's a look at the APP video review rules. Once again, new this season. Only line calls are reviewable, and it must be a rally-ending shot. You have unlimited successful challenges, 3 unsuccessful challenges in mixed doubles, and you can no longer challenge your own call. It has to be either the opponent's call or the referee's call that you can review. And so this one going to be looked at once again. The call on the court was out. It would make it 9-3 in favor of Jack Munro and Megan Fudge. So a good challenge here by Andre Mick and Allison Harris.
yeah. Again, we talk about it all the time. Mine as well right now. 9-3 is the result.
Eyeballs.
Definitely out. I never want to say definitely. Cannot ever say definitely.
Dorian thought the ball was in, so yes, you
From our vantage point in real time.
And that is why her average is below the Mendoza line.
But I'm a perfect example of why players want to have these video review challenges,
Oh,
because from
absolutely.
our
That's
angle,
video
it's
review.
really difficult
The
to
ball
tell.
was out.
100%. Plus the speed that the
2
ball is
timeouts,
moving.
2 challenges remaining, 3 challenges remaining. We'll resume play at 9-3-2.
Match lead, Carol Manifold all over it. The call stands. It was out. Our tracking ref, Norman Velguth, and our video replay ref is Mary Namey for this match.
Time in.
Time in with Munro and Fudge leading
9-3-2.
9-3-2.
I
Point.
think Mick needs to step over there on that one. It was a good setup from Harris. Mick hesitated, and now Harris is having to try to recover and hit that on the backhand.
10-3-2.
Brings up game point, 10-3-2. Nice
Side
answer
out.
there from Andre Mick to earn the side out.
Also, what the issue is, too, is Allison Harris loves to finish through the middle. The issue right now is Jack Munro's forehands in the middle.
3-10-1.
It's not a backhand from a guy there. It's a forehand she's hitting right into.
Second serve.
Harris just can't make the pick. When you're a player, Dom, and you have your favorite shot taken away from you, what's the adjustment?
3-10-2.
Well, again, she's got to adjust. I'd like to see if she's going to speed up, go to the back side right
Side out.
there of Megan Fudge. But again, you got to keep that down. And again, that speed up's got to come from when she's up at the kitchen line.
Well, and she can still take that same ball that she
10-3-1.
likes spinning through the middle, but you know, you're flirting with the sideline a little bit more when you go with the right
Point
shoulder.
game.
That
11-3.
sails wide,
Fudge,
and
Munro.
Monroe and Fudge making quick work of
Timeout,
Harris
St.
and
James, 2
Mick
minutes.
in game number 1.
Strong work
They
from
take it
Munro and
11-3.
Fudge in
Game
game
2
one.
coming up here on Championship Court in our final semifinal here at the Owl APP Newport Beach Open.
The Pro XR pickleball paddle answers the age-old question of how to get paddle speed and control with the same paddle and one grip, and this is it. Pro XR gives you more spin, greater control, and quicker reloads on every shot in the game, because you always have that constant feel for that leverage and control and paddle speed that we're all looking for. Pro XR is the most revolutionary technology in pickleball.
When I have pain from arthritis, I grab BioFreeze. Unlike Voltaren, BioFreeze provides fast-acting relief. I can apply it to more areas of my body.
On the court, off the court, and on the way to the court, you have to expect more out of yourself. And you should expect more of the company who makes your tires. Getting you more miles, traction, and safety is why we get up in the morning. Let's drive forward. Expect more. Fortune Tires.
At The Botanist, we always look further, seeing potential where others may not. We sustainably hand forage 22 Isla Botanicals to make a beautifully balanced gin, capturing the essence of our Scottish island home. Consciously crafted by our community to be enjoyed by yours. Look further.
Game number 1 went the way of Megan Fudge and Jack Munro in a clinical fashion, taking it 11-3. Fellas, are you surprised by this result?
Not really surprised. And Chad, you hit on it. It was they annoy you. They get everything back. They play great defense. And they don't do anything special. They're almost waiting for you to make the mistake. I think it got to Harris and Mick a little bit and frustrated them into balls that they didn't want to hit and speed-ups that they shouldn't hit.
Well, one thing that Mick and Harris like to play faster pace, right? But what Fudge and Munro do so well is that they can control the tempo. They can move the ball around, control the tempo to what they want the pace of play to be. And right now it's a slower pace because it's something that somewhat frustrates Mick and Harris. So I would like to see Mick and Harris take a couple more chances. A few more speed ups, elevate some balls, see if you can create some pop-ups. We saw that work a little bit in the quarterfinals for the Hart and Cedarquist.
That one sails long off the paddle. Chad just told us what he was seeing. AJ, what is our new analyst in training, Mari Humberg, seeing over there?
Well, Mari Humberg and I were just talking about how important it is for players to come back to places that they have special memories at. And for Allison Harris and Andre Mick, of course, here in Newport, Mari, is where they won the silver medal their first time playing together here on the APP Tour. How much confidence can a player get from having an experience like that?
I think it's really nice to be familiar with the venue first thing, and then just have the memories, right? You bring it year over year. I'm just now getting to that point because I started playing a few more tournaments at this time last year. So my first memory was of my bronze medal with Allison, actually. She's on the court right now, in St. Louis last year. And then we just look forward to going back to those locations because we just have those memories. So I think they both mentioned how special this place is to them because it was both their medals, first medals, I believe, in mixed. So, yeah, it's pretty cool to come back.
It's a lot of fun, and coming here into game 2, Andre and Allison obviously dropping game number 1, 11-3. What do you think is the biggest adjustment they need to make?
I think they got a little bit impatient in game 1. It looks like they started a little bit slower this game, so that's probably what they need to focus on right now. They're not going to blast the ball past Megan and Jack. They both have pretty good defense, so they're going to have to wait for better opportunities to attack.
Patience is not a virtue that I possess, so I wish them the best of luck.
I do too.
Back to you guys.
Well, that makes 3 of us. Patience is not my strong suit either, as Andre Mick drops that into the net off of the forehand side.
Well, that's just it right there, right? Andre Mick had 2 overheads that both Fudge and Munro got back. And right there, you're trying to do something that's you're not accustomed to. Even though they're getting it back, continue to punish them back there and keep them back there.
This is common to the game.
That doesn't make any sense.
It wouldn't be a hinder anyway.
So Andre Mick is asking the referee if there was a hinder in the middle of that point.
Did you see anything that would constitute a hindrance?
I didn't. But again, we have the headphones on and I did not hear anything specifically. So I'm not sure exactly what he was talking about.
That was a nice combination there.
There was a lot of spin on that ball coming from both Harris and Mick. Mick initiating it with the ATP. He really had to hook that ball back around the post.
0-3-1.
Harris on serve, 0-3-1.
Yeah.
Second
Edge
serve.
guard back up the middle.
Middle's closed. It's closed right now. Jack Munro's got that.
And we've seen that something that's going to give Munro a little bit
0-3-2.
more of a difficult time is in tighter to the body. You give him anything with space on either side, and that's where he's going to excel. So if Mick's going to speed that up, it has to be at a different spot.
See, right there. Well, Allison Harris found the right foot of Jack Munro. He goes two-hander from a spot from the sideline. So now Fudge has to pinch, and all Andre Mick has to do is punch it to the sideline. They have to find the outside foot of both Megan Fudge and Jack Munro right now.
It gets Mick and Harris on the board, 1-3-2. Perfectly for the winner.
A good move there from Munro. Recognizing he got that ball out wide enough on Mick. You'll see Mick's head have to turn, his back showing. Nowhere else he can go but down the line there.
Extended conversation between Andre Mick and Allison Harris.
3-1-1.
Great angle from Mick
Second
on
serve.
the overhead.
Placement over power right there. Andre Mick able to get that angle, like you said, Dorian.
3-1-2.
Just out of the reach of Megan Fudge.
That's no easy feat. Megan Fudge covers court just about as well as anyone.
That's a nice
Side
spot
out.
right there for Allison Harris.
And it's a quick side out. That is the first time that Fudge and Munro have not been able to score on their serve since the opening point of this game.
That's it, though, right there, okay? Andre Mick misses it. I'm fine with it, though, because Allison Harris pulled Munro all the way over. Munro resets to the inside foot of Mick, and Mick's trying to go behind Fudge. They need to continue to go sideline to sideline, move them around.
Side out.
Can't make the pickup.
Good ball there from Munro. Makes the adjustment, gets that ball a little bit deeper to Harris so she can't take that cross court. She still tries to go, and it's very difficult to create that angle and the lift at the same time once that ball's behind.
Right through the middle and the backhand flick.
So Harris had success going crossbody on Fudge 2 points ago. This time she tries to sneak it down the line. Now the difference being is Fudge is going to get a paddle on pretty much every ball. The success was the crossbody because when Fudge got the paddle on it, now sends that ball cross court. She goes down the line and it just opens up the ability of Fudge to be able to reset it down the line. At times you have to think of, yeah, okay, I can try to sneak one down the line, or if I go cross body, cross court, it's probably still going to come back, but then you've got to think about where that ball's going to go.
Point.
Harris saying it's so easy as she slides it wide. Another point for Munro and Fudge as they have a 4-point advantage here in game number 2.
5-1-2. Point.
That's just
Time
trying
out,
to make
receivers,
something out of
6-1-2.
nothing. And right there,
It's a desperation play right there.
Right, but the issue is like we've talked about and joked about before. I'm aging myself. This isn't rock and jock. You can't get out there and rock and jock for MTV and shoot a 5-point, 10-point shot and get it all back at once. That's what Andre Mick's trying to do right there, making an exceptional shot and try and get everything back. It's got to be 1 point at a time. You don't need that shot right there.
So 5-1 in game number 2 is too soon for desperation shots.
I mean, they don't even.
I don't even think there's a point for a desperation shot right now.
Right.
They have to try. You look at it. The Fudge and Munro is still 5 points away, right? You have to try to create some rhythm. You've got to create some sequences that you can build off of. Like throwing up that offensive lob right there, it's not going to create any rhythm or anything. Yeah, it's going to get you 1 point, but the next one you're still, you're going to throw up another, you're going to keep throwing up offensive lobs over and over and over and over again.
And we talk about it, right? How do you get in a rhythm? Elongate the point, right? Like get in that rhythm, elongate the point, get in a longer point right there. That will get you in a rhythm, not throwing up that lob. And then, like Chad just said, what you can do, throw it up again and again and again. You're not going to do that.
There were times in that quarterfinal match where DeHart and Cedarquist had success elongating that point.
Right.
Now, granted, different matchups in this one, but again, if you take anything from that quarterfinal match, there are opportunities to get Munro in uncomfortable situations.
Yeah, and it was easier in that one because you had Cedarquist and Fudge cross court from each other, so they were elongating that point going back and forth because both of them were so solid. This is a little tougher with Harris and Fudge being straight up on each other. Good timeout.
Yeah, a good spot there from Harris, catching mid-shin of Munro through that transition area.
So able to earn the side out of the timeout.
Yeah,
right at the feet of Harris. Munro's just all over the kitchen line right now.
But again, right, so I like the drive from Mick. Mick needs to drive. He needs to put the pressure on because it gives them easier balls. But that's too soon to speed up there for Mick on Munro. They haven't set up the point. They haven't created an opening or a little bit of desperation for Fudge and Munro to stay in the point.
Sends it just long off the paddle of Mick as the lead grows to 6 now. The winner of this match will move on to face Will Howes and Bobby Oshiro in the gold medal match on Sunday.
Second serve.
Right at the feet of Megan Fudge to earn the second serve.
Yeah, and a better reach over there, but it was also created from a better ball on Mick's fifth where he was able to roll it down, get it to come up and be aggressive again.
That's good ball right there, doubling up on the right side of Jack Munro.
Munro giving a thumbs up. The ball was good, just on the outside of the line.
1-7-1.
Off of the edge guard as Harris trying to pull that ball cross court. Second serve coming.
So, yes, you can speed up there, but you've just pulled Munro all the way out wide off the court, and then you speed up at Fudge, who's already set right there in front of you. Take that ball, go behind Fudge. Now you're creating a hole through the middle with getting both players moving.
There's uncharacteristic misses as well off of both the paddles of Harris and Mick in this match.
Yeah, and Harris right there, another good setup. She gets the ball she's looking for on the counter.
And Munro going backside on Mick for the point.
Again, Mick testing the hands of Jack Munro, but what does he do so well? Keeps that paddle out in front, no big recoil on a swing.
8-1-1.
Punches that ball right back at Mick, gets everyone back.
Munro up to the task again, puts away the overhead as he and Megan Fudge are cruising towards a Game 2 victory. They're up 9-1.
I mean, that was as cool as you can get right there on a point. And Munro just was easy, calm, finishes that point in a standing straight up position because, hey, I got exactly what I wanted.
Exactly. And there's one thing, Mick has power. Mick has shape. He's got spin and everything else like that. He doesn't have a soft game, a dink game that's really going to put pressure on you. So you're not under stress, right? Then Mick takes that ball down the line. Munro knows he's going to move back into the middle because he's going to look to be aggressive. Hits the right arm pick, gets the pop up, finishes the point right there. So that's part of the developmental part for Mick and Harris is, if it's on where Mick is aggressive and Harris can get those balls that she can roll through the middle and everything else like that, they're a dangerous team. But if you get them into that slower pace and you move the ball around in these longer dink rallies, Mick's going to struggle a little bit more with that softer side of the game.
And the next evolution of their partnership, we don't know what the next year will bring. We've already seen so much growth from that pair from last year at Newport Beach to this season, but finding themselves in a uphill task against the 2-seed Megan Fudge and Jack Munro, who have just been unmovable. They took game 1 11-3, are leading in game 2 9-1. And look to be well on their way to clinching a spot on Championship Sunday.
Second serve.
Second serve coming.
Yeah, Munro just a little too tall there. Straight leg. That ball got behind him.
That is them when they're playing their best.
Well, that's 2 good holds right there on serve after the timeout, but you hate saying you need to score in bunches, but they do right now.
You don't hate it if it's true.
That's such a good pressure tank from Jack Munro. But he had both Harris and Mick thinking he was going to pull the trigger, it looked like. Both backed off the line just enough.
Side out.
And that's it. That's a case of just going too big. Like, good third shot drive there from Mick. Gets the ball that he wants on the fifth that pops up, and he just tries to absolutely annihilate it so it doesn't come back. Instead of hitting something down on an angle there from the elevated ball.
Winner off the paddle of Mick.
Well, it's a good speed up right there for Mick. He went right at the body of Megan Fudge. He jammed her up, didn't allow her to extend her hands any way here. Just pops that ball up. He's got there for the finish.
Point.
Net cord unkind to Andre Mick this afternoon, and it brings up match point for Munro and Fudge, leading 10-1.
10-1-2.
Harris and Mick able to stave off the match for a moment.
Well, the net cord helped Harris and Mick there in that one.
One
10-1.
Oh, that's nasty
Points
down the line.
with the inside-out forehand. That's a beauty.
Ooh.
That's an Andre Mick special right there. Heavy top spin.
2-10-1.
Oh, he
But
had
right
it.
shape it enough.
He had it. He just tried to go too deep in that corner.
Back to the get there from Fudge. I don't know how she kept that ball in. We all thought it was going to go wide.
Mick beside himself.
2-10-2.
2-10-2.
Side out.
And that's we talk about rushing it there. Feet aren't set, fully extended. Separation away from the body is tough.
Match point number 2 for Fudge and Munro.
Second serve.
Mick able to find some space just past the paddle of Munro.
10-2-2.
That was close.
How about the defense from Mick and Harris?
Well, that whole point, though, Mick and Harris, that was great point construction. Allison Harris really going hard cross courts, and Jack Munro kept him honest throughout that whole point. But Megan Fudge trying to put an exclamation on that game with a perfect drop.
2-10-1.
Serve back over to Harris and Mick. 2-10-1.
See, there it is. Allison Harris again.
Slippery. Yeah, but that's what I talked about at the beginning, right? So Harris has to play Munro, put the pressure on, because when he tries to go cross court, then it gives Mick the ability to get involved.
Yeah! Mick kisses the line for the winner.
Timeout receivers, 4-10-1.
If Harris doesn't get in that cross court and put the pressure on Munro, and she just goes to Fudge, then there's no way for Mick to get involved in that middle. Perfect ball there from Mick. Went to the deepest part of the court. If he had gone anywhere else, that ball's a foot out.
Smart read from Andre Mick. Smart decision here from Megan Fudge and Jack Munro as they take a timeout. Their lead is still 6, but they've seen Harris and Mick grab a little momentum here late.
Well, this is all momentum right here, and what you found is success Harris versus Munro cross court. And they need to stay in that. But what does Munro need to do? Flatten it out, get Andre Mick involved, and then Andre Mick will go cross court with Megan Fudge. He had a little success, but if I'm Munro and Fudge, that's the matchup I want more, is Megan Fudge and Andre Mick rather than Harris and Munro.
And I will say that the weakest side for Andre Mick is the backhand. He's not going to hurt you with anything. The backhand dink, not his strength.
Especially when
Munro takes that down the line. Mick is not going to cut that hard.
Especially when he takes that second hand off,
yes,
right? When he goes one-hander.
If he hits the frog roll, he's got a little bit more. But he goes one-hander with it.
You know
it's more of just a cut that sits up and stays in. Yes, it's down, but it's not going to put any pressure on you. And Fudge can then move that ball around more.
Yep.
Munro and Fudge. Words of positivity. You can see the head nods coming out of the timeout. Meanwhile, Andre Mick, Allison Harris, they've battled back, but still with work to do. Trailing 4-10-1. Harris just a little too behind on that ball. Sails along.
You hit it exactly, Dorian. That ball got behind her, and because it got behind her, she's not able to get on top of it.
4-10-2.
Let's go.
That time Munro pushes it long, so the lead now halved. It's 5-10-2.
Well, there's been a couple of times in the last few points that Munro has been straight-legged, standing up tall. That was another situation there.
5-10-2.
Elevated ball is standing tall. That ball now comes out flat off the paddle.
Side out.
Mick again tries to rip the forehand, finds the net cord, and audibly frustrated as it gives Munro and Fudge match point number 4.
10-5-1.
Oh, it's in.
Fudge finds some space for the winner. She and Jack Munro more than up to the task as they take down Allison Harris and Andre Mick 11-3, 11-5 to secure a spot on Championship Sunday. We will hear from the 2 seeds when we return here on Championship Court at the Al APP Newport Beach Open.
When my hearing changed, Hearing Life understood. I don't just want to keep hearing my friends. I want to keep being me.
Book a complimentary hearing assessment with one of our hearing professionals and see how our personalized care can help you keep being you. Love your ears at Hearing Life.
When I have pain from arthritis, I grab BioFreeze. Unlike Voltaren, BioFreeze provides fast-acting relief. I can apply it to more areas of my body, and it's NSAID-free. Cool the pain, so I can get back on the court.
Andre Mick, Allison Harris did a good job of making it a little more competitive at the end, but Chad, it was just too much Fudge and Munro.
Yeah, a little late charge there from Harris and Mick, but we always talk about the consistency of Fudge and Munro throughout the day, and they showed it here. It was the pressure that they put on, and then the perfect ball there from Fudge, moving him into Championship Sunday. We'll throw it down to AJ McCord for our Franklin post-match interview.
Yeah, that's right. We are down here on Championship Court. Megan and Jack and I just talking about how chaotic it has been here in Newport Beach. You guys had a little bit of a scare there in the end of Game 3, just with a little bit of a run. You know how dangerous Andre and Allison can be, Megan, so you call that timeout. What was it that you guys wanted to get back to with that timeout call?
Yeah, I mean, we knew that Andre and Allison could get hot anytime. So I knew 3 points, I think, in a row. Andre just hit amazing shots. And so I was like, you know what, timeout, it doesn't matter what score is. Like, let's cool him off. And that's why I said to Jack, we're doing everything right. And he's taking high-risk shots, and they're going in right now. So let's see if he can keep doing it.
So you guys have played together a few times before on the APP Tour. You won a bronze in Houston together last year. You've already guaranteed yourselves a medal here in 2024. Jack, how has this partnership just grown throughout the times that you've gotten a chance to play with Megan?
Exactly. It's all from, trial and error, experience. And, I mean, even the first couple of tournaments, we did do well. But, I mean, now we've definitely locked in each other's games. And, I mean, I feel super comfortable playing with her. She helps mask some of my weaknesses and really help show some of my strengths. So I really owe it to her.
Megan, you told me earlier that you really like when Jack plays with confidence. It brings out the best in your games as a duo. How did you see that play out today?
Yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit with this guy, so I just want him to fly and do his thing, and I'll just show up and do some resets, I guess. The guy's unbelievably talented, and I just can't wait to see where his journey goes, but I'm glad to be part of it right now.
The next step is Championship Sunday. We'll see you guys then.
Thank you.